Since the Hero 2's release in 2011, GoPros have been the golden standard for action cameras. GoPro to the camera industry is like Apple to the smartphone industry. Even though the products are extremely good, they can charge a lot more for them because they are the brand that everyone knows and they need to cover their immense marketing costs. This is where Chinese cameras come in. There are many GoPro clones, but the one I have here is called the Eken H9. It can shoot in 720p 120fps, 1080p 60fps, 2.7K 30fps, or supposedly 4K 25fps. More on that later. With a set of mounts, it cost me 52 Canadian dollars or 38 American dollars on AliExpress. I bought it so I can film myself while fishing, mountain biking, or snorkeling. It's compatible with SJ Cam batteries, of which I ordered 4, and a charger for 20 Canadian dollars or 15 US dollars. Altogether, it cost me $75 Canadian or 60 American, which is about 1/7 the price of a new GoPro Hero 6. Should you bother? Is the quality decent enough to make it even usable? Let's test it. The camera comes in a box quite similar to that of the genuine GoPro, which is kind of weird considering that this camera is not really available in any physical retail stores. I got mine in black, but it's also available in yellow, silver, or white. There's also the H9R, which includes a small remote to start recording or to take a picture without having to touch the camera. The most basic kit, which is the one that I have, includes a replacement door for the housing, zip ties, a steel tether, a flat and a slightly curved adhesive mount, a USB power brick and micro USB cable, a tripod mount, a cage to mount the camera to a tripod without the housing, a mount to attach the camera to a handle, a 90-degree adapter, a bar mount, a battery, 2 bases which slide onto the adhesive mounts, the camera, and waterproof housing. The H9 features a 170-degree wide-angle lens and a 4-megapixel sensor. That's right, a 4-megapixel sensor. Even though the camera is advertised to be able to take 12-megapixel photos, according to El Producente, they're actually upscaled to 12 megapixels. It supports up to a 32GB micro SD card, and next to the SD card slot there's micro HDMI and micro USB port. The stock battery has a capacity of 1050 mAh, and based on my experience, lasts for about an hour and a half while recording 1080p 60fps video. The SJ Cam batteries that it's compatible with only have a capacity of 900 mAh. The screen is 2 inches and has a resolution of 320 by 240 pixels. The camera also has onboard 802.11n Wi-Fi, which allows you to connect to your phone with an app. The app has built-in streaming capabilities to Facebook and YouTube, which is very cool. I will link the El Producente post in the description, which includes everything about navigating the menus and more in-depth specs. Like I mentioned before, the camera can record in 720p 120fps, 1080p 30fps, 1080p 60fps, 2.7K 30fps, or 4K 25fps. But wait, if the sensor is only 4 megapixels, how can it record 4K? If it worked, it would be upscaled for sure, but for some reason 4K simply does not work on my camera. Whenever I try to start recording in 4K, the camera completely locks up and nothing registers. Even holding down the power button for 30 seconds, which seems to be the universal standard for hard restarting electronics, does nothing. You have to take out the battery to fix this. I haven't tried updating or changing the firmware because 4K isn't really important to me for now, but anyway, let's check out the rest of the features. Here's a video I took of me flying one of my RC planes. I thought this would be a good test for the camera because there's lots of light and the plane being far away will give us a pretty good demonstration of the video quality. Overall, the video is quite good, but as expected, not amazing. When I look around, there's an obvious fisheye effect in the center of the screen that is kind of nauseating. Also, the footage seems to be quite saturated and there seems to be some kind of HDR enhancement going on. When zoomed in on the plane, this becomes quite obvious. You can see a halo around the plane. For a higher bitrate test, I mounted it on my bike using the handlebar mount. I apologize for the mediocre biking, but I had no grip because of the snow. Here's a time lapse I took using the camera's time lapse function, taking a picture every 10 seconds. As you can see, it's pretty hard to watch because of how to adjust the exposure throughout the sequence, but it could be worse. You have to keep in mind that this is a $40 US camera, not a $400 GoPro. The camera performs quite badly in low light situations, as we can see here in this video of me playing the best game ever made. I'm not going to demonstrate the 2.7K mode, but the increase in quality is barely noticeable over 1080p, and you would need at least a 1440p display to be able to notice the increase in pixels. I forgot to mention that the camera recorded in widescreen aspect ratios, unlike earlier GoPros which recorded in 4:3. Here's a demonstration of the 720p 120fps, first in normal speed, then in 25% speed. If you haven't noticed until now, the microphone quality is absolute garbage, especially when inside the waterproof case. The only thing it seems to pick up are knocking and airflow over the camera. Also, for some reason, the videos cut off at 10 minutes and they start recording to a new file. Overall, I would definitely recommend this camera if you need a rugged action camera like a GoPro but can't afford an actual one. You get 70% of the performance for 13% of the price. Video taken with this camera will definitely be up in the future, especially in the next few weeks because that's when fishing season is starting, and in the summer for some snorkeling. There should also be a Gerber Dime versus Leatherman Squirt video coming up soon. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.